Before we get outside, I want to introduce you to Luc and Sonia. So they are dear friends of mine over the last several years. I think it was 2019 or 20, I came here. It was the beginning of COVID. And when I came to Florida, I didn't know anybody. Like, I knew one family and 2 people that lived on their land, and that was it. And so at the beginning of COVID, I mean, you know, we were all there. I'm like, I just need humans. So I found the greenhouse and I was like, I will do anything just to be here, to work, to play in the dirt, to do whatever. I just need to be around humans. I don't know anybody. And I had grown up around plants my whole life, have done, you know, permaculture for over 20 years. But being in Florida, I realized was a game changer. And so for me to be able to learn, you know, from Luc, who is one of the patriarchs in Florida for permaculture, was like drinking out of a fire hose. I mean, it was like every day when I came in, I'm like making notes in my phone and like trying to jot things down as fast as I can. He would say something about a plant and I'm writing it down, and then sitting at lunch researching the botanical name and the medicinal uses of it. So for me, it was like being able to just soak and learn from a local guru and be able to just to soak it all in. And so over the years, Luc and Sonia have been here almost 13, 14 years, and they have mentored so many of the big food forest greats that we all see online now. A lot of them got their starting point here at a natural farm.
Yep. So thanks for coming, all of you. We appreciate having people here. That's what we enjoy the most. Most people come here, they are similar to all of you. They want to learn how to grow stuff, grow plants, grow food. So that's the key there, is to do stuff that you like to do, and then at the same time produce some food that you can eat. I decided, because I've always liked fruiting plants, edible plants, read some books about those practical plants and edible medicinal plants, and that's how we started. So now we grow about 130 types of edible plants, fruit trees, medicinal plants, and from little plants to very large plants. You know, when you come here and you have questions, we're happy to share our knowledge. Whether you're a one person or a big family, we're happy to have you here. We like to have groups like today, and sometimes we have homeschool groups. They come here, and we've had up to like 60 kids, 60 children at one time, and it's really great because they go in the food forest and they eat things that they would never eat. If you gave them a leaf, they would probably not touch it, but when they see it and they see little snakes, they see spiders, there's these things crawling, and they just want to see those things. They're not scared at all. Oh yeah, and then part of the classes is once a year we have a avocado grafting class. So we show people the different varieties. That's another one of our specialties.
And that's a make and take class, right?
Yeah, people come. Part of the class is they get a seedling. They come, we do the class here presenting all the varieties, because we grow 12 varieties of avocados, which you will see in the food forest too, all the varieties. And then we show people how to graft, and then we let them graft by themselves. So it's like a hands-on class. So thanks again,
Awesome.
Kris, for coming.
Thank you.
Long time friend. I've learned a lot from him as well. And I keep learning. It's so exciting, the permaculture, the soil is just mind-blowing.
Okay, we're just gonna go house by house by house. So this is where some of the bananas are. If you were interested in the kokopo, there's some little baby kokopos that are here. This is the red banana, Sumatrana Cross, I think is the variety-wise. So it makes a really fun, like a deep red banana, kind of like the Thai bananas you'd get like at an Asian market, but it's a fun, more decorative one. This is a new one, the Mona Lisa. I like that he wrote down flavor palette because I have no idea. I've never actually tried that one. Some of the other ones that are in here that I think are really good, Venti Cohol is a vanilla banana kind of flavor to it. What else? Cabanas, kind of mid. Venti Cohol. What were some of the other ones that he had?
He has more than that.
Yeah, maybe we'll just.
He has blue java. He has.
Oh, Grand Naim is okay. That's just, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter. Pacing Ceylon is like a kind of a sweet coconut banana, so it has that slightly coconutty flavor on the Pacing Ceylon. Ice cream banana I really love. It really does taste like vanilla ice cream. So you don't have to freeze it. You can put it in the refrigerator and then just stick it in the blender, and it's like yogurty ice cream. So the ice cream banana I think is really good. Takes a smidgen longer to produce fruit. Kokopo does take a couple years to get going, and the ice cream does take a couple years as well. Everybody else, 12 months, you know, to 14 months at most on most bananas before you get fruit. Banana is one fruit. If you do not feed it, it will not feed you. So bananas need compost as much as you can. If you have kiddos and it's a private area or a husband, that's a great place to go to the restroom when you're outside at the base of the banana tree, because urine is a 1-to-1 carbon to nitrogen ratio and it will not burn your plants. So it is literally liquid gold. So really easy one. In here we also have the jabuticaba. Jabuticaba is also known as the Brazilian grape. There are so many different varieties now of jabuticaba. Two here that I'll recommend. The black or Sabra or Grimal. Those ones are gonna be like a Cabernet Sauvignon skin with the sweetest grape you've ever had for the inside. Very, very sweet, wrapped in a high tannin kind of skin. The red is a little bit more tart on the skin, but still very nice and sweet on the inside. And the red ones are gonna produce a lot faster for you. So if you want them sooner, the red jabuticaba is gonna fruit from this 3-gallon size in about 3 to 4 years, versus the black can be 5 to 8 years. So the black is the better flavor, but you do have to wait a little bit longer and be a little bit more patient. These love acidic soil, so they're gonna be great in your blueberries, olives, grapes, underneath pine trees. They can do full sun, even into almost full shade. So the more obviously sun you get, you're gonna get more fruiting, and they do tend to fruit multiple times a year. So on some good years, you'll get 4 probably harvests a year. Other times you'll get 2 or 3 harvests a year, and there's a lot of fruit. The fruit of these are extremely rare, very, very hard to find at markets. I went down to one of the Miami fruit festivals and 1 pint was $45 for a pint of the jabuticaba fruit. Very expensive, but really a yummy fruit. Very, very cold tolerant. If you are growing crepe myrtles on your property, that's a great indicator that these are going to do well in a very similar environment. So.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
When there's like 3-gallon size, how old do you think they are?
Those I think are the ones we did from seed. These are probably 4 or 5 years old.
Oh. Okay. Is this more of a grafted thing or a seed thing?
Red are usually grafted. These ones he did from seeds, from ones that were already grafted, because they're just a stronger, more resilient plant when they're grown from seeds. I believe these are the ones we did from seeds. I'm not 100% sure. Coffee, the Arabica coffee, you can grow if you are in zone 10, B, really, A, maybe if you're lucky. If you're up here in zone 9, the coffee does need to be in a greenhouse setting. So here we do have a plant that is in the ground in the back over there, and that one gives about 2 to 3 pounds of coffee per year per plant. So that's about how much you're gonna get. The raw berries are edible too. They're just very sweet. They taste a little bit like miracle berry, but without the flavor changing properties of them. So it's a great understory plant. We'll just keep coming down. These are more of the jabuticabas. On the side over here, we've got a lot of the understory stuff. So if you've already got a lot of fruit trees, think about some potential understories that you can kind of add in to fill in some of the mix. So this one here is called Brazilian spinach or sisu. If you want to go ahead and taste a leaf, you can. This one is a decent one for a salad. It is my favorite for a green on hamburgers because it holds up the crunch against the heat and it doesn't like melt into your hamburgers over the summer. Very resilient, and it grows kind of as a mounding ground cover, so it's not going to spread way out. It just kind of mounds just about that tall. It's not going to get too much taller than this. If you wanted starts of pigeon peas or some of the moringa, those are in here as well. In this little area, there's a couple of the edible hibiscus. So this one, they're all in the Abelmescus mani-hot botanical family, so similar to okra. So this one is the Bailey hibiscus or Auntie Lily's South Sea salad. These leaves will get to be about as big as a dinner plate. The tree will get to be about 10 feet tall, about probably 4 or 5 feet wide. The leaves are really good to use as wrappers for like egg salad sandwiches or tuna salad. So think of it as like a gluten-free wrap. The other thing you can do is you can actually set it on the plate as presentation, put your steak, your potatoes, your veggies or whatever on top of it, and then you can literally eat it. When we do picnics before at my last farm, we would actually use these as their plate. So everybody gets one of these or a banana leaf, and that is your plate, and you get your food right on top of it, and you walk out in the forest. I do think the Auntie Lily's does give a lot of good visual interest because sometimes the green can be a little bit bland, so it's nice to have those good pops of color. The flower on Auntie Lily's is a little bit more nondescript, but some of the other ones that are the more green are going to have a brighter flower. So it kind of depends on, do I want the flower or do I want to focus more on the leaves and the variegation? These ones back in here will get the red. You'll get the red and the purple and the green and the pink on pretty much every tree. It just depends on what cutting they started it from, but they usually all end up with those type of colors on that particular South Sea salad. Any questions on these guys?
Is that katuk?
Yes, this one is the katuk. So these are the little guys. I think these are 15 or 16 bucks for the little katuk, and these grow fast. So if you put this in the ground now, this will be 6 or 8 feet tall by the end of the summer. This one is full sun or part shade, but there's a couple other hibiscus over there that are better part shade to full shade, but they do love sun. These are the grains of paradise. So this is very similar to cardamom. The flower is nondescript, but it gets these little berries on the grains of paradise that are kind of like like the flavors of curry, and you grind it up into a powder. So if you want to like make your own curry powder, the grains of paradise are really fun. Grows in full shade, super easy. There's some better looking ones of these on the other side, but this is the Okinawa spinach. So it grows very similar to the longevity spinach, but the purple undersides have the anthocyanins in it, so it's going to be a good antioxidant for you. This is a really nice one to do in soups and stews. Not great for salads, awesome in scrambled eggs or saute them, put a little bit of bacon in them or saute them and put them on top of mashed potatoes is really nice. Cook them, yep. They're just a little bit thicker, so you can eat them fresh, they're not gonna hurt you, but the texture is a little bit harder. And we'll keep coming down. This is another one of the salad trees. Grows very similar to the Auntie Lily's, but it gets these really bright hot pink stems, a yellow flower that's like a okra meets a hibiscus. The leaves are one of my favorites for a tropical green just to add into a salad because you get that pop of color, and the leaves are bigger than your hand. I mean, they really get quite large quite fast. And this is a more sensitive, tough perennial, I guess you could say. So it can die back in a frost, but it generally comes right back from the roots. As a tree, it's only going to be about 8 to 12 feet tall, depending on the area. But I'm constantly cutting mine and sharing propagations or whatever of these anyway.
What's it called?
This one is in the Abelmescus mani-hot family, and this one is Chief Kobo's South Sea salad. It's a hibiscus.
Okay.
Yep. And yerba mate. So this one, Victor, yerba mate right here. So yerba mate is a very inexpensive, like 12 to 20 bucks for these little guys. These are great as a hedge. Very tall, very thick, very dense. You dry the leaves to make a tea that has a caffeine effect, but no caffeine. They call it matine, you know, just as the kind of pun name for it. But it grows as a really thick hedge, really good pollinator, green tea that's slightly bitter. And in Brazil and Argentina, it's the national drink of their country. So the gauchos, the cowboys, will carry these gourds that are hollowed out at their sides, and they carry them on their belt loop. And they'll take the mate leaves, they'll put them in the gourd, and the straw has a filter on the end of the straw. It's called a bombilla or a bombisha, depending on if you're in Brazil or Argentina. And you stick the straw in there, and then they fill it up with their hot water. And so when they're all sitting in a group like this, whoever is hosting, so it'd be me in this case, I would fill it up with my canteen with hot water. I would take the first drink because it's the most bitter, so that way it's better for everybody else. I drink my mate gourd all the way down, I refill it, and I pass it to the next person. She would drink it all the way down, pass it back, I refill it, pass it to the next person. And the nice thing with mate is it's antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, so you can share it easily and you're not sharing cooties or anything like that. So it's a very, like, they don't go out for coffee in Brazil and Argentina like that. They have mate together. So this is what all the cowboys use. Great pollinator, great as a hedge, great as a sound barrier. We use them here at a natural farm in the very back, because in the very back of the food forest, there's some things that we're pressing our zone. So like sugar apple, some of the anonas, and this is the protection around them to be able to press your zone. So if you're wanting to create microclimates, this and bamboo, the clumping bamboos, are really gonna be your go-tos on those.
Growth rate and then propagation.
Super slow for the first year. You won't get much new growth at all, maybe 6 or 8 inches. Second year, double it, and then third year, it's going to be 8 or 10 feet tall. So, and it's a very inexpensive, but within 2 or 3 years, you got a hedge, like a legit hedge. Propagation, cuttings from the hardwood.
Okay.
The other thing I will point out, if you're in zone 9B and higher, is black peppercorn. So you can grow black peppercorn. It's a part shade plant. The best place for it, which I know y'all got them, are cabbage palms. And plant them at the base of the cabbage palm on the shadiest side and let it grow up. You say no? Oh, you don't have to. Her food forest, just so y'all know, Susanna's food forest is like the thing we all dream of. It's beautiful, beautiful. But it's in Miami. It's too far down for us. So this one, I would do it on the shadiest side of a mature cabbage palm and let it grow up. You could also do it even on the side of a chimney because it does kind of grab onto things, but it doesn't pull things off the wall. So it does love shade protection, does not do well in full whacking sun, but underneath of those canopies of the cabbage or sable palms, it's fantastic. And we all use salt and pepper, so it's like, why not? Okay, so inside this house, couple fun highlights. If you are in zones even 8B and you have a lot of cold and you want bulletproof fruit, the strawberry guava or Cattleya guava is wonderful. So the fruit will be about yay big around, tastes just like strawberry guava. The seeds are edible, so it's like passion fruit seeds, like it adds that little bit of crunch in there, and they produce every year without fail. And you will probably get fruit on them at that size. So it's a really good mid-story, so think your berry bush layer. So very bulletproof. Soursop, I think the only person here that can grow soursop is gonna be Susanna over there. It's just too cold for us unless you have a greenhouse. There is a mountain soursop that is supposedly 5 degrees more cold hardy. I have an 8-foot tall one, I'm still trying it. She's still in a pot. So I'm not willing to recommend it yet because it's only been through one winter. So we'll see how that goes. Custard apple, again, that's another one that needs a lot of protection. This is passion vine, purple possum. These do not live forever. Passion vine are a short-term plant. So think about 5 to 6, maybe 8 years. You'll get lots of suckers that come up. They need a lot of room to spread out. We used to have them on the ends of the greenhouses. That was a mistake because one plant will literally cover the entire end of the greenhouse. So you need a lot of room to spread out. These are great if you have fencing or cattle or livestock. If the fencing is, panel, not barbed wire, but if you have panel fencing, it's a great trellis. The cattle will eat it however they want, and it prevents you from having to weed whack under those stupid fences. So it's a great one if you've got, cattle fencing and space for it, not barbed wire. but it does need a lot of room to spread out. So if you get a passion fruit, just have a plan.
Kris, are
Yep.
those passion fruit or are those like the native passion flower?
Is not the native. So the native one is Passiflora incarnata, and so that one is fairly well behaved, can sprawl on the ground, whatever. They're sour, but there's not a lot of flavor in the native one. The leaves of both you can use as a tea. Passion flower leaves or passion vine leaves, both the purple possum or the native incarnata, the leaves have an effect on the body like chamomile. So a very good relaxing, but it's a great one if you have kiddos that are just real hyper and you add it into water and send them off to school because it's like tea. It's going to help them dial down. There's some really good studies that are in the process using it with kids with ADD and ADHD because it doesn't make them drowsy. It just helps dial people down a little bit. So it's a great one, good for anxiety, people that have anxiety. The flowers you can use as a tea, just one flower in a cup, or the leaves just use as a regular tea. This one is just way more aggressive, but the fruit is way better. This is like sour candy, Warheads meets fruit punch.
Are these self-fertile or do they need?
They're self-fertile. Yep. Yep.
Which did you say was sweeter?
This one is sweeter for sure. Yeah. The sweetest is the yellow one, but it gets mad in the winter, dies back, and then it comes back. And the leaves you can't use medicinally, but that's definitely the sweeter version. It is not a horse-friendly plant, so it does cause colic in horses. So mango world, mangoes are great. Anybody that is zone 9B or higher. Now there's a plethora of mangoes. What I do appreciate about a natural farm is they only sell mangoes that are non-astringent and they're non-fibrous. So astringent means that's when you take a bite of it and your mouth kind of goes dry. Fibrous is the stringy, nasty stuff that's in the middle. So all of the ones that Luc has are non-fibrous and non-astringent. There's one variety that he has that's labeled on the side astringent. I think it's a Filipino variety. But everybody else pretty much does the same. The vast majority of mangoes are going to be very tall, very big trees, 20, 30 or so feet tall. There's a few varieties of mangoes that stay dwarf or semi-dwarf. And actually, if you come in the back, I can show you a couple of them. The first one is called Julie. Julie is actually the only mango that I'm aware of that you can grow in a pot for her entire life. So she will only get to be about 5 feet tall. The fruit is about baseball size on the fruit, and it's a little bit more of a pineapple kind of flavor versus just straight up mango. So it's got that pineapple citrusy mango kind of flavor. So come on over here, I'll introduce you real quick to these two. So the one here on the right is Julie, and this is almost 10 years old, and she's probably maybe 6.5 feet tall, and they just don't get any taller than this. So she's kind of done. She does produce quite a lot on the years that she produces, but Julie likes vacations, so she'll take a year off here and there. If you want a great semi-dwarf, Pickering is hands down my favorite for semi-dwarf. It is actually a little bit more cold hardy than some of the other varieties, and the flavor is that orange mango kind of flavor that everybody wants, and she just stays a little more condensed. This one is dense. Now these are examples of mangoes that are never pruned. So if you don't prune your mangoes, they're totally wild. This is what they're gonna do. You're not gonna get that formal upright kind of a tree. But I think for a dwarf tree, that's kind of the bonus. It's almost like hedgy, but you still get a tree that's dripping with fruit, and they don't sacrifice size of the mangoes. I mean, this is still a massive mango for a semi-dwarf tree. The other semi-dwarf that I personally love is the ice cream mango because it's a little bit rounder and it tastes like mango sherbet. I mean, it is absolutely wonderful. So the three of the dwarf and semi-dwarf would be the ice cream, Pickering, and Julie. There's a little bit bigger called Super Julie, but I don't like the flavor as much.
So for the Pickering and the ice cream, can those ones live in pots as well?
Pickering, yes, if the pot is like a 65-gallon. Ice cream, same.
When you say more cold tolerant, how cold tolerant are we?
2 or 3 degrees, and that's all we need, usually. So like
So like 9A.
9A, you could do it. Yeah. 9A with protection. Yeah. I would say do a year or two of all of your bulletproof or other trees first, your peaches, your mulberries, your loquats, create a microclimate, and then your 2 or 3 then bring in your mango because you've created that little bit of like protection. Okay. So this is the kind of mango area. Oh, praise the Lord. You gotta come over and just steal some if you can find them. Strawberry trees is my favorite fruit in Florida.
Kris, right here.
Some of these are the yellow. Some of them are the pink. Please taste both. They taste like Skittles or cotton candy. They're super sweet and they're low sugar, so kids can have them, and it's like a multivitamin. Now, the downside with strawberry tree, excuse me, is they're very tender. Everybody come over and grab a fruit. So on the strawberry trees, they're a little bit more picky. So I typically recommend people getting them in the really small size like this, because they will fruit at that size. And by the end of the year, that little tiny one is gonna be 6, 8, 9 feet tall. These don't do well in zone 9A. They're gonna probably die back. I would still buy them every year for $14, just so I have it every year, but just consider it an annual. But this is a really easy one to throw in the greenhouse. They can live in a pot their whole lives. They're gonna be totally fine. I have friends in Kansas City that grow them, and they leave them in the greenhouse and in the polytunnel, and they're totally fine. You can cut them back to a stick, and they still grow back. Flavor-wise, the pink ones are a little bit sweeter. I feel like they're more strawberry Skittles. The yellow ones to me are like buttered popcorn Jelly Bellies to me. They've just got that buttery kind of flavor to it. One of the other benefits of this are the leaves to use as a tea is very good for heart health, normalizing blood cholesterol levels, and normalizing blood sugar levels for those that are diabetic or pre-diabetic. So a lot of good benefits of the leaves. I've read a little bit about gut health with it, but I don't have any personal experience of that. But with anything, you always want to check with your family care physician first. So some of our favorites on this side. So if you're in the market for lemongrass, so this one is great to cut back once a year, 3-4 inches tall. I like to take them and just braid them together and then make like onion rings, and you can put them on a paper towel holder. So when you're ready to make tea, you just pull off an onion ring, throw it in the bottom of the cup, and you're kind of good to go. There is a myth that it helps repel insects. It does, if you make a spray out of it and keep it in the refrigerator and apply it to your skin, but it's not gonna work around your patio.
I was picking lemongrass with some tea, and mosquitoes, it's like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't work the way we think it works. These are Turk's Cap hibiscus. So these are the style that they grow in full-on shade. They flower pretty much year-round. The leaves are not edible, but the flowers are edible. Really fun on salads. They just they'll hang down usually when they're flowering, but it's a neat way to get hummingbirds and pollinators into shaded areas. It's a great one for hedging. So if you've got a shaded, partial shade area, you want to create a hedge or a barrier, this is a great one that's going to add some beauty. Very, very good for animal forage and fodder. So this is one of the primary plants you'll see in the fields and pastures at Animal Kingdom with Disney, because the horses can eat it, all of the wild animals can eat it, the cattle can eat it. So it's a really good silvopasture option, but adds that pop of color in the sun. It does come in a white and a blush, like a peachy color, but I only see the red here. This is the Roselle or Jamaican sorrel. Come on over and grab a leaf. The leaf of these are slightly lemony in flavor. So think about these leaves as your lettuce on tacos or fish tacos. The calyx of these is what she used today in the tea that we had. So it's Roselle calyxes with some ginger added in, but the leaves are edible, the flowers are edible, and the calyxes are edible. So the calyxes also have that nice cranberry kind of flavor to it. This is not to be confused with this one over here that's called cranberry hibiscus. Now you do have to eat a leaf of this. Everybody got to eat a leaf of the cranberry hibiscus. This one tastes like a cranberry lemonade. This is always a family favorite because it's so yummy, it's sweet, it's tart. So one of my favorite ways to use this, aside from a tea of course, is think steak and blue cheese salad, raspberry vinaigrette, and this just adds that nice little kick and that punch to it. And they do have these in the smaller pots in the shade house in a few minutes when we head over. So we'll come down here. If you're big into planting native, the Tice mulberry is one of our native mulberries to Florida. This is more of a sprawling mulberry, so it's not going to grow as a bigger, tall tree, but very large, very delicious fruit about twice a year. Goji berry is an extremely high vitamin C. The berries are a little bit smaller, but the berries can be dried, and 1 teaspoon of this has the equivalent of vitamin C of 5 oranges. So just 1 little tablespoon of this. They're kind of a savory berry, but when you dry them, they turn sweet for whatever reason. I'm not sure why that is. They're really good fresh or dried in yogurt in the morning or oatmeal. So it's a good easy morning, get your vitamin C, add a little bit of berries to it. These are better with partial shade. They don't do well in Florida in full sun, and they can take crazy cold. They grow up in northern Michigan, and they're totally fine. So that's a great one for an understory.
For the native mulberries, how would those be as a rootstock for grafting stuff that's nematode?
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's great for like Pakistan.
Yeah. Yeah, we learned after the Pakistani. Or the
Pakistan's the one that like we all want, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's so fussy. So guava, there's a couple options on guava. The white is gonna be the most mild on the regular guava. The red is gonna be the most disease resistant, so it's less likely to get sick. The pink is the nicest flavor. It's called Pink Barbie. So you have Ruby Supreme, Pink Barbie, and the white. So guavas do great. They can defoliate, lose their leaves in the wintertime, but they almost always come back. Even here, I don't think I've ever had one die and not come back here in Central Florida. The leaves of guava are what most of the world uses for Pepto-Bismol. So just make it as a tea and you can have as much of that as you want. There's no dosage requirements on it, but it's a great Pepto-Bismol alternative. The white is going to be they're all about the same. About like that. I actually got my first white from Josh James. So these are some of the thornless blackberries. If you want raspberries, you just got to move north. Raspberries just don't do well here. If you want to try them, the Mysore variety of raspberry is going to be your closest bet of trying raspberries is the Mysore, but they don't do great. They're really finicky. They tend to die back. Mulberries are going to be your closest flavor-wise that are going to do well here. Blackberries, however, do great. So this is either Freedom or Celebration, both thornless varieties of blackberries, and they will produce first year. A lot of these already have fruit that are starting on them, and they love to sprawl. If you've not tried them, there's a few ripe ones that are in there, and you're welcome to give those a shot. In the blueberry family, I'll start with the preface of this. Florida soil, by and large, is not very acidic, and blueberries need a minimum of 5.5 or lower pH in order to produce fruit. So a lot of people have blueberries for 2, 3, 4 years. They don't produce. Your pH is too high. If you have 5.6, you're not getting berries. It's just not going to grow. So if you buy blueberries, think about it as something you're going to have to amend your soil. Coffee grounds, organic sulfur, green pine needles, pine straw mulch, you are going to be amending. If you're okay with amending, they're a great choice in an acidic area. So if I were designing an acidic area that I'm only amending that area with sulfur, it's going to be my olive trees, it's going to be azaleas, going to be blueberry, pineapple, grapes. So those are going to be the ones that are going to play well together in that acid loving. Jabuticaba would do well. So I like to keep all my acid loving ones together. That way I only have to amend one area with sulfur at a time. So blueberry wise, if you can only get one, get a variety called Emerald because it is truly self-fertile. Otherwise, get as many other varieties that you can. Emerald is always my first choice. I would say Farthing is another good one, but needs a buddy. Snow Crisp is good, early producer, needs a buddy. Bloxy is another really good producer. So there's a lot of really yummy ones, but if you can only do one variety, I would stick with the Emerald. So if you buy an avocado of this size, you're looking at 4 to 5 years before you start getting a substantial fruit, versus if you get a 30-gallon, you've got fruit, already in the first year. So I've already seen some Brogdon, Mexicola, and I think a lot of these are looking super healthy. When I'm looking at avocados, I want to see some good red, some bronzing on my new growth. And then when you go down to the base, look for a nice strong graft. So where the graft is, you'll see a little kind of a deformed area. You want that to be strong and straight, not a zigzagged graft on there. That means somebody rushed themselves when they were grafting. And then I always take grafting tape and labels off avocados because they strangle really, really easy. So take the grafting tape off the green tape almost immediately. So if you are wanting avocados, this is kind of where you'll come back to. These are two that I want to differentiate between. There's actually a third that people often confuse, chia, and cassava, which are very, very different. They are not the same. You use them very, very differently. So let's talk about cassava or yucca, not the same as yucca. All these differentials. This one is primarily used for the tuber or the root. So you can pretty much set a timer when you take a cutting of this, stick it in the ground, tell Siri, hey Siri, remind me in 150 days to harvest the cassava because that's when it's ripe. If you wait longer than 150 days, it's woody, it's fibrous, it's stringy, it's almost inedible. These are a great deal, this plant, because I wouldn't even plant this in the ground. I would cut this into 6-8 inch strips and I would have like 25 different cuttings from this. So to me, I would say this is like the mother plant. Like cut the heck out of this, trim it back, and the roots of these get big. They're gonna be about as big as your forearm. They make great French fries, but they have to be cooked or fried a long time. 20 minutes or more is how long they've got to be cooked in order to eat them. So it's not one that you're just going to quick throw on the stove. You're looking at 20 to 45 minutes cook time, but they're indestructible. You don't have to water them. You could literally take a cutting of this, and I've done it. I've left cuttings from December until April in a shed, my friend David's shed, forgot about them, came back in and found the cuttings and went, stuck in the ground, and it grows. And it's shocking.
I have a bundle of them from before Christmas in my garage. To this day, they are sprouting and growing in my garage with no light.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the funny thing is, if you try to care for them, you'll kill it.
Yeah.
you just have to neglect. It's like ginger and turmeric. You know, you got to neglect them. So this is the cassava. There is a really pretty variegated variety that gets hot pink stems, white centers. If you ever see those, snatch them up because they taste better and they're really pretty. This one is the chia, not chia. It is chia, or a tree spinach. There's two varieties that are pretty common here. This is the narrow leaf and there's a wider leaf. These have cyanic glycosides in it, so it's kind of like a tomato. You're not gonna eat a raw green tomato or eat the leaves of tomatoes. You've got to know how to cook it, when to harvest it, when to prepare it. And this one is a cooked green. So you've got to just stir fry it or add it into a soup or a stew and you're gonna be fine, but it's not one that you can eat raw. You will get kidney stones, I promise you. The other thing with the chia family is it can have like a stinging nettle effect for some people and cause a real, like a several day reaction. So if you react to stinging nettles or latex, this is one that you want to wear gloves or whatever to use. I love it in full shade areas because it's great for pollinators. The flowers on them are very nondescript, kind of blooms all season long. Songbirds will get in there and eat the little berries off of them, but it's a great cooked tree spinach. Just make sure you cook it before you eat it. So next little area here, if you're wanting the berry layer, these are some good looking cherry of the Rio Grande. So cherry of the Rio Grande, Suriname cherry. If you want my honest opinion, 100% cherry of the Rio Grande, negative 100% on the Suriname cherry. To me, these taste like if you're getting your hands in turpentine and you accidentally rub your lips, that's basically the flavor of this cherry. Here's where it's good. The Eugenia unifolia is great for grafting. So if you're wanting to propagate other of that species, Patanga tuba, the black Suriname cherry, this is a really, really good one to propagate into. The other nice thing with this one is that it's a great one for like back edges of the property to attract songbirds and animals. It gives them their area to do their thing. Native Floridians love them. So it's one of those things like from the north, I'm like, that tastes like trash, man. That's like turpentine. If you say that to a native Floridian, oh no, that's the cherry that I had growing up, and they love them. Their flavor palette is damaged. It's the turpentine, I'm telling you. But it's a great one to graft into. It's great for animals. If you are gonna do a Eugenia, Patanga tuba is my favorite. That is, the yellow Suriname is absolutely delightful. Talk about figs for just a second. Couple varieties of figs that are great. If you are northern and have a lot of cold, the Chicago or black beer are gonna be really good ones for you. Brown turkey is a good all-purpose fig that is better dried than fresh. It's very mild, kind of meh, but it's a really good one to dehydrate or to freeze dry. Celeste is my favorite of the fresh eaters. It's more of a red-pink center, and it grows more bushy than it does tall and lanky, and the flavor on it is much, much sweeter. There's a couple varieties of fig that you can do in a pot. One of them is called Fignominal, love the name, and it really does only grow about 5-6 feet tall, and it stays like that in a pot and produces really good. I have one in a 5-gallon pot right now, and there's like 35 fruit on it, which is good for a small pot size or whatever. So figs, if you are gonna grow them, just know they're gonna look real bad for a couple months out of the year. It's kind of like No Shave November, but it lasts November, December, January, and even into February. Then they start looking good again. They are sometimes susceptible to root knot nematodes. So think marigolds underneath and yarrow. Lots and lots of yarrow underneath of them. Yarrow's a nice light nitrogen fixer, but it does help from the root level, keeping the nematodes away. The marigolds are more when it rains and it hits the flowers and those terpenes hit the soil, then the marigold works. But the yarrow is gonna work better from the root level on the nematodes. But great one for full sun areas, I would say.
Can I ask you a question about figs? Yep. What kind did you share on your stories the other day? They looked huge.
Those are brown turkey. Yeah, those are. I actually have some with me, and I'll let you try one if you want. I do have some brown turkey I brought if anybody wants to try them. Mulberries, this one is world's best. It's not the world's best, but it's close. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite. It's not in my top 5, but it's in my top 10. So world's best is a good semi-dwarf. It's going to be about 15 to 17 feet tall. Produces a lot. Very, very prolific. Very juicy. It's more of the mild end of mulberries, but it's an easy one to graft into as well. So you can add some other ones into it. Dwarf everbearing. This is the native red. I think that's about everybody. Oh, this is Thai red. This is Thai red. And so I will say they're better when they're more purple or black. So this is my favorite of the mulberries. So there are a couple of black ones in here, but the dwarf Thai red, Bulbous alba is fantastic. Elderberry, skip it, it's overrated. These are some medium size of the strawberry tree. Oh, what's that? Nice.
If you're saying elderberry is overrated, you have not had an elderflower martini.
I like the elderflower than I do the better than the berries, for sure. This one I just want to point out really fast. If you get dragon fruit and you're disappointed, this is what you should be doing instead. It's called Peruvian apple cactus. It's what I want dragon fruit to taste like, and it never does. And you literally, I have put it down in the middle of a cow field, never did anything, and it's fruiting, flowering, going to town. I mean, absolutely insane. If you are looking for citrus, this is kind of the citrus area. These are the citrus that are like your lemons, limes, oranges, grapefruits. As a caveat, all citrus in Florida is going to be synthetic. It's not even legal to have organic citrus in Florida. So citrus are always going to get the greening. It's a normal disease in Florida. The best possible thing you can do for your citrus, go to the outside edge of a canopy of an oak tree on the southwest side, straight down from where that canopy is on the southwest side, and plant it right there. Because what happens is the tannins from those oak leaves are a preventative that works pretty well to stave off the greening as long as possible. So if you're gonna do a citrus, that's the best thing to do. There's only one citrus tree that does not get the greening, and it's a finger lime, and those are on the other side, but they are very thorny. If you're here looking for stone fruit, peaches, plums, and nectarines in the 3-gallon size, and also mangoes are on the other side. So let's take a look at the shade houses.
Step down.
Okay, watch your step. This is pretty uneasy on this side. So a couple things I just want to highlight and then let you guys go on your shopping. The first one is Panadol that these ladies are looking at over here. If you have problems with rats or mice or critters that are getting into stuff, this is great to plant around the base. The caveat with this one is it does smell like cannabis. So it is not one that you want to be planting and then going into work later because you'll be raising a lot of eyebrows. But if you have like problems with critters getting your avocados or your fruit or squirrels, this is a great one. I like it around the edges of feed sheds. If you have an RV or something that's in storage, these are great things to just keep the rats and the mice and the critters or whatever away from it. Garlic chives is a really great one. Garlicky, oniony, they will self-seed and propagate. If you wanted smaller of the roselle, there's some small roselle. I see a couple small strawberry trees back in there as well that look really good.
So there's strawberries over there? Strawberry trees?
Yep, I see like 3 of them. Over here is longevity spinach, the really good ground cover. Mexican oregano gets to be pretty big. See the pot right here? That's the small leaves. That's the Mexican oregano. So this one you use, it's kind of like flavor of thyme and oregano all in one, and you use it exactly the same way when you're cooking. Okay, a couple things over here. This is the tea plant or green tea, so the green tea camellia. The fruit on those are not edible. It's the younger leaves that you're mainly going for on the green tea plant. Just like anybody else in the camellia family, these are going to really appreciate the more acidic soil conditions, love full shade, so as much shade as you can give them. They can survive in full sun as well, but they are a little bit slower to get established. These are some pretty good looking of the Brazilian sisu. A couple other medicinals if you want stuff for brain health and energy. Kava kava is over here on the side. Kava kava is one that has some contraindications with medications. So with kava kava, before consuming, talk to your family care physician. And then this area is the gingers and the turmerics and the katuks and all of that good stuff. So I'm kind of going to go piece by piece so you can kind of take your pick on these. The nice thing with ginger and turmeric is they're really easy to divide. So for example, a thumb-sized piece, it does not need leaves, and you can stick that thumb in the ground. So if you're interested in ginger and turmeric, raise your hand so that way people can see. Find a friend. Find a friend. So a couple of our options. The first one has a couple different names. Topi Tambo, Kunlun. This one is a smaller root, and it's more along the lines of like African potato mint meets a water chestnut. So pretty mild in its flavor. Finger limes are here if you're interested in those. Is this red or
yellow?
Blue? Yellow. Yellow, I would say, is a great one just to do from the Chinese grocery store. Luc specializes in all of them, so buy the specialty ones from him. Green is in the back corner. Green is a really good one for anything inflammation, like shoulders on up. So it's really good for like your upper vertebrae, for migraines, headaches, stress, anxiety. So that's a really good one for those. The other unique thing with the green is it's a lot higher in its curcumin levels. So it's better for anti-inflammatory. This one here is called Greater Galangal. This one is fun if you don't want to do bamboo because you're triggered by it. Greater Galangal looks like a bamboo. It's tall, it's really thick, really bushy, and it'll get tall within 1 year, but it's not bamboo. So if you're triggered by bamboo, this is a great one to add into your collection. The roots are phenomenal because if you take the roots and grind them up, it's all the flavors of curry in one root. So it's the cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, curry, cumin, like it's all of the things in one root. So if you like curry or those Indian style dishes, the root of galangal is really, really nice. The finger roots are really good for dental inflammation. So making a tea out of the finger turmeric is great. The blue and the black are some of the most expensive, but also the most medicinal. So the black and the blue have 5 times the curcumin levels that any other ginger and turmeric does. So if you are dealing with the big C and you have, you're on chemo, radiation, whatever, this is the one. I would not even eat the root. I would tincture it. I would dry it, make it into a powder, use it as a tea, because you eat it once and you're done. But if you tincture it, you can take that for months and months and months and months. Now the true ones that he's selling these a lot cheaper than what they used to. The original plant that he got the black from was $170. And he's been able to like propagate that and move that around. The blue is the same way. What's kind of fun with these is the flower looks like a bromeliad on them. They're a very hot pink kind of flower. And all of these ginger and turmerics are full shade. Full shade and no care. Don't touch them, don't water them, don't fertilize them. Don't walk next to them and tell them you love them. Just ignore them. Just literally walk away. It's the easiest way to deal with them. The next one is the, Amana. This one he hasn't had in a while. This is mango ginger and tastes exactly like it sounds. It is beautifully, beautifully fragrant. Great in curries and basmati chicken and basmati rice. So medicinal wise is meh, but flavor wise is a home run for sure. So these are some of the grains of paradise. If you wanted some little bit greener of the grains of paradise. So some more of the blue, the green, the black. Sonia, do you have spicy?
Spicy white?
Yeah. So spicy white, it is spicy, but this is probably the best one for if you're currently doing chemo or radiation, because it's also not a blood thinner. So a lot of the danger with gingers and turmerics is they can thin the blood. So if you're on coumadin, chlorophene, vitamin E, fish oils, and you don't want to overdo the blood thinners, the spicy doesn't thin the blood as much. So for people that are not as tolerant, the white spicy is the better. Maybe out. We'll find out. And we'll keep coming down. So this one is the famous shampoo ginger or awapui. So this is the one that you grab the cone and it literally is shampoo. The shampoo doesn't save well, so you're not putting it in the shower. The better way to do this one is to literally take your loofah outside, tip the pine cone over and just squeeze it on your loofah and go inside and take a shower. So that's the easiest way, is store it on the cone, and you'll get a squeeze or two every single day is how much moisture it brings up in it. So it's a really fun one. It can tolerate part sun, but it really loves shade, does better in the shaded areas. And again, this one is super hardy. Oftentimes will die back to the ground, but comes back every year. And the root tastes like shampoo, so we're not buying this one for the root, but man, the flowers are really funky. They're really cool. And they're a great one in the garden to just put on your hands and just keep going, doing your thing. People that have rosacea, eczema, acne, whatever, good for all those skin issues, because it's very antimicrobial. Some of the papaya in the back.
Red
so we
lady.
have mostly red lady.
I think it's just red lady.
Okay, so red lady. Red lady is pretty good. Typical rule of thumb on papaya is your Hawaiian varieties are gonna be really yummy. Everybody else is a wild card. So if you get into like exotica that, is a Mexican variety, I feel like they're really good at first, and then you're like, it's kind of a pukey flavor. It's just got this weird vomity aftertaste to a lot of papayas. They don't grow true to seed. So if you get a good one from the store, grow it, see what happens. Because honestly, papaya is short term. The longest I've ever seen a papaya go, there's one at Empower School and Farm that is now 7 years old. And that's the oldest papaya I think I've ever seen in my life. It's a short-term tree. Plant 1 or 2 every year and enjoy the fruit. And when they fall over in the hurricane, don't cry about it. Cry about your avocados. Don't cry about a papaya. Just cut it down, biomass it, and go to town. But it's one that I like to plant 1 or 2 every year. They do really well in banana circles, so you can add those into bananas, papaya, sweet potatoes, lemongrass, panadol. So in that nice wet area, sugar cane, elderberry if you're doing elderberry. So those grow all really well together in that area.
On those?
What's that?
Gold hardiness?
Not. 36 maybe, and they start getting pretty mad. So sunshine mimosa, perennial peanut, that's a great price on perennial peanut, because I paid $5 and it was a great deal at another nursery, and there were 4-inch pots. So that's a pretty good deal, perennial peanut. Both of these grow easily from cuttings. They're almost impossible to grow from seed. I have bought seed for sunshine mimosa so many times, and my germination rate, I kid you not, is like 5%. It's just really bad. So easy from cuttings. So both of these, when they start looking a little bit ratty, mow it over, reset it, you're good to go. They use these a lot on I-75 now in the medians. You'll see these flowers. Crescent City up by Palatka has started doing them around their medians in between the roads.
Downtown Groveland.
Groveland has done it a lot.
Suncoast is doing it.
And Groveland also started doing Dune Sunflower, which I was pretty impressed with. It's great. Let's do the natives. Comfrey. This is not the Bocking 14 variety, and so we'll just stay there. Finger limes, there was a couple more over on the side. Finger limes are like lime caviar, so they come out in these little pearls. You use it just like a regular lime. You can juice it, put them on a taco or on side of a margarita glass or whatever, but they come in red and pink and purple. Just don't get the green, because why would you get green when you can get those other fun colors? Unless you already have the other colors and you just need, oh, you got a little honeybee. Little friend. So there's those. These are more of the toothache plants. This is going to be your area if you're wanting to start small and let them fill in. So I can see roselle, a lot of the hibiscus, Mexican sunflower, longevity spinach, moringa. Right there's a big cluster of the strawberry tree on the side. This is the red button ginger, so the food forest, when we had the spiral ginger, that was the orange. This is the red cone that has the yellow flower, so just another flavor palette. Gotta catch them all. Some good looking cranberry hibiscus. Actually, if you're shopping for the Abelmescus, this is a pretty good area. I can see some African blue basil back in there. So this is kind of the smaller kind of start areas. If you're looking to start small and then grow big. So I think we've made it to every major area. This way is just larger sizes of the fruit trees that we've seen. So I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna quote unquote end for lunch. If you brought a lunch, you wanna have a snack, great. I'm gonna go in.
So now I'm curious as to what your top 5 mulberries are.
Oh, good.
Oh, don't get him started. Don't get him started.
Let me get out my spreadsheet. What's unique, I think, about this food forest is this is done as an agroforestry style, meaning it's like an orchard of fruit trees shrunken down into really long, skinny rows. It's real nice. It's real nice. It tastes the same, but it just looks so cool. And it's kind of like Pokemon, you gotta catch them all. You know, you just gotta have one of everything. You know, even though I have the basic, I need the evolved version and the hybrid a little bit, you know. You gotta kind of play with that a little.